Hello, everyone. This is Warhawk Beyond 2040, and welcome to the first edition of a brand new review series where we are going to be talking about X-Men 97. And we are joined once again with the one and only, the badass himself, Rex the Boss 11. Rex, it's great to have you here. How are you doing, brother?
I am doing very well. Hey guys, how's it going? Let's talk about X-Men 97, episode 1.
So, episode one, to me, my X-Men. This episode takes place 1 year after the original series of the X-Men, and we're going to start with you first. We're going to get straight into this, Rex. What did you think of episode one?
Well, to episode 1, to be fair, and I'm glad that you just mentioned that it carries on from there because that was a question that I was going to ask. Is this a time skip or does it carry on? Because my memory on the last series, the final of the original series, is a bit sketchy because the animation was a bit different, wasn't it?
Yeah,
But yeah, the episode 1 here, it's just where you want it to pick up, isn't it? Against the Sentinels, because of course we all, as X-Men and as potential mutants, we all hate the Sentinels. So
yeah,
yeah, it was nice to see them. I mean, it was a bit rushed, I won't lie. This could have been a two-part or this first episode. But yeah, it was a very, very solid reintroduction to exactly what you would want from the X-Men as a continuation from their 97. The animation is obviously slightly a bit more upgraded because it's in 2024. This is 30 years more or after the original series, 32 years after the original series was drawn. So, you expect a little bit of an upgrade. I like the introduction of the alternative characters, the obviously the realistic forms of most characters. And it was a bit strange, obviously, to see some people in charge now. Like, obviously, if you just walked into this, you might not understand that this is obviously a continuation, which is once again why I'm thanking that you mentioned that before. But yeah, this was completely solid. There's no one that should really have any complaints apart from little tidbits. I understand there's going to be some fans of the original series that are not going to like bits. I'm sure I read something online that a lot of people are not, or some people are not happy about the whole morph confusion, etc. But I just was happy to see something that was just so nostalgic, and they didn't destroy it. So and realistically, it's only going to get better from that moment there. Like where we're only at episode 1, I'm going to say I was excited. I wanted it to be good. It could have still gone bad, but this was a very, very good opening to what I believe is going to be the future of Marvel animated series and stuff.
well, for me, this episode was, just like you said, this was everything you wanted to see in an X-Men cartoon. And yeah, it may have felt a little bit rushed at times, but I think, nostalgia played its big part in it. But I thought this was a great, solid opener. This was so good. Animation was polished, very slick, and everything about what I wanted to see in X-Men, we got it and more. And I love the way how everyone got good ample screen time. No one was really taking a backseat to anyone. Everyone got to shine, and there was nice callbacks to the original series as well. And one thing I have to praise, all due respect to all the X-Men characters, I have to give 10 out of 10 for the way they've handled Cyclops, because obviously anyone who's watched the X-Men movies, Cyclops wasn't really written well. He was came across as a bit of a fool through no fault of his. But I thought the way they handled Cyclops, he was exactly what I wanted to see with Cyclops. He's the man, he's the field leader, and just hearing him say to me, my X-Men, I just got absolute chills hearing that. I thought, yes, this is what I want to see. Cyclops leading the X-Men into battle, taking down Sentinels, Wolverine as a complete badass, Storm controlling the weather, Gambit being cool, Rogue being tough. Everything about it was just fantastic. I really enjoyed this one a lot. And I've got no issues with this. I've got no issues whatsoever. I
Can
thought,
I ask you a quick question? Do you think that the whole sort of there's a problem with the X-Men, something going on, theme music hits and they just kick into gear. That very 90s Power Ranger Saturday morning
Yeah,
kids TV vibe. Did you get that in that first episode where it
I
was
did.
like, I wouldn't have liked that years ago, and I wouldn't have liked that if I'd have seen X-Men doing that when I was a kid. I wasn't that huge into Power Rangers anyway, but I just felt like it was a sort of kick back to the 90s, sort of, this is how 90s TV was. You're going to like it or lump it. But when I say that the episode was, I don't even mean rushed. I mean, that I think it feels like it's drawn and animated in a way where it's so fast. And you're not realizing that it actually makes a 40-minute episode feel like as quick as the 20-minute episodes from back in the day.
It does actually, because I think for me when I was watching this, yeah, it's so fast, very well paced. It does completely go over your head. You're so into it, and when it's over, you think, oh, is that it? I was just really starting to get into this more. They said, nope, you got to wait for the next episode. Yeah, they
which
definitely
is
did keep
which is
that.
exactly what that type of nostalgia kick from the 90s. That's exactly
Yeah,
how TV was, wasn't it? It was stick around for next week. You know what I mean? Like
that's it. That's
it
it.
was like that, wasn't it? I'll come back tomorrow after school. It kind of was like that. Like, and if you break it down, they could very easily have done the same back time, same back channel, part A, part B, where you have to wait till the next day, or they did 24 episodes because they're 41 minutes. They could have cut them down into 20-minute episodes that they were back in the day,
They
and
could have.
easily left them a lot of the episodes on cliffhangers for the next episode. Now, maybe in the production, post production, they'll be wise to go back and do it as like 20-minute episodes where they do release on maybe Blu-ray or streaming platforms the episodes where they could have a straight cut in the middle at 20 minutes and then it's like another episode after, because then you've got 20 episodes rather than 10 40-minute episodes. I liked it in the 40-minute form. That's how I watch most of my programming. But you got to imagine, if you were to watch the whole of the original series and then watch these, they are a little bit like, well, everything's happening at once.
Yeah. One difference I will say that I did notice when the X-Men theme started, yeah, it still sounds pretty much the same, but I noticed that the theme is a little bit slower than the original. I mean, it still sounds the same. It's still a it's still got that theme,
50
but
hertz. 50
it's
hertz, bro.
yeah,
50 hertz.
it's still it's a little bit
It's
slower
it's
than the
50
original.
hertz. What it is because the production of this. Now, I could be completely wrong about this, but I'm almost certain that the original X-Men theme, because it was instrumental, would not have been edited in any way like the Turtles theme was. Like if you listen to our Turtles, Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles, it was slightly slower, or they would deliberately make it faster so that it would fit, like not just Turtles but different themes that we had when we were younger.
Yeah,
Now with the 50 to 60 hertz, everything that we would get, especially the X-Men theme, would sound, I swear, if you were listening to that in America, the theme would be the same sort of up tempo banging version of the
yeah,
theme that it was before. It's definitely something to do with the 50 and 60 hertz, because I can tell you, when you do watch things from elsewhere, sometimes from different streaming platforms and different, let's just say, websites, you will get a very higher pitched version of the audio compared to the one that you were just listening to before.
yeah,
If you know what I'm on about, like you
yeah,
can
yeah,
get
yeah.
the British version, what was supposed to air on British Netflix, and then you get the American Netflix version on on the same streaming platform, sort of.
Yeah.
So it could just be a 50 to 60 hertz translator. You might have just watched all the British episodes, but it still doesn't make a difference. The theme would be
No, no,
slower.
no.
It
Yeah,
would be slightly slower.
yeah. It's only slightly. It's not that big of a difference, but I just noticed it was a little bit slower.
It's a bit more. It's a bit more over the top studio as well. Whereas you could
Yeah,
tell before that they actually had to use certain instruments. Well, in fact, to be fair, I've read somewhere that that theme is stolen, isn't it?
I've never heard that one
Yeah,
before.
yeah, yeah. I read somewhere that the X-Men theme apparently has been stolen from somewhere else. Now, that's obviously research for a different time. But
Mm.
yeah, I did read that the X-Men original theme, dun, 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 is stolen from somewhere else.
Think I have. Think now that you
Yeah, yeah,
mention it,
yeah, yeah. The
I
countdown
think
bit where it's like
yeah,
all it's all stolen from somewhere else. Pretty sure that it was some random like Polish or Israeli female came forward or composer came forward, pretty much like the Goldberg theme from wrestling, and said, "Wait, this is
that's
my
mine.
song, but it's just been chopped up in a way to sound different." You know, that's why it comes in like dun 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 dun, and it kicks in with the immediate theme. Like, yeah, because it's from a different, it's from a different thing where they've just taken the last like minute or so.
Yeah, I think I now that you mention it, I think I have heard this story
Yeah,
actually.
yeah, yeah. So for anyone out there, as we're coming to the end of this, anyone out there that hasn't got any knowledge of that, I mean, I can't prove it right now. I'm just saying this off memory. It could be a different program that I'm thinking of. You could all be screaming in the comments now. No, you are blatantly talking about a different program. Yeah, or you're talking about something else. Yeah, many a theme has been stolen in time. However, I'm almost certain that I read somewhere that this X-Men theme was definitely, according to somebody, it was stolen from a program from back in the day, or something else from back in the day.
Okay, before we wrap things up, what's your thoughts on Cyclops and Jean Grey having a child together? What was your thoughts on that?
Well, obviously, we kind of knew this from the previous series. Like, obviously, my thoughts on it would be, well, yeah, that's Cable, because we obviously seen him in the
Yeah,
movie, and obviously we've
yeah.
seen him before. Like, because we see they kind of figured it out before, didn't they, in the original series? The
Oh, that
Cable was
Cable's
their
the son.
son from the future, but that
Mm.
hadn't come yet. Now it's come now. I mean, Cable has to happen, and
Yes, he has
you,
to.
as you don't know this yet, but as time goes on, you will realize why Cable has to happen, and the season two will almost show. I'm almost certain season two will show why Cable has to happen, so that even further that it goes forward, obviously to do with all that virus or whatever it was that he was
Yeah,
infected by with Sinister and all that type of stuff. Yeah.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, Cable being their son, I mean, it's like the origin of the X-Men. Like it's like the modern origin, if you know what I mean. Like for them to become
yeah.
what they are when we knew them in the films, the established X-Men, Cable has to be
There.
created and things have to take place. Sinister. Now, obviously, they didn't want to put Sinister in the films. So that's why you never got to see anything like that in the films. But you may be looking into the future of what the X-Men could actually go down that road of, because they've clearly overused Jean and never really put Cyclops in a place of power. In fact, to be fair, they made him look like a bit of a daddy's
Yeah,
boy, didn't they, with his dad and all that, like a
yeah.
sort of lost soul without his dad and stuff. Um, but yeah, it's definitely leading somewhere. Um, I do feel that season two will maybe be more of a key to what they are, but they're definitely those three characters are definitely the key to whatever this X-Men 97 series is going to be as a whole. So, you know, 4 or 5 series down the line, if we get there, they will be the main source of characters and plot lines and people that stay and live, because they were talking about leaving, but then all of a
Yes,
sudden it's like, oh yeah, now I get it. Now I
and
get it.
then
Now they're being established as like the new Xavier's. They're going to be there in the future. Like they're going to be the people that in the future people are going to remember them, not Wolverine and not
no,
Gambit and not Rogue. They're going to remember those two.
because they're the originals, obviously.
And aren't they like secretly, like without anyone really knowing, aren't they like the two pure, like Sinister knows this, they are the two purest gened like X-Men, like
Yeah,
if they are combined. This is where Cable comes from, isn't it? Like
that's
they
right.
create their two DNA creates the perfect mutant or
Yes.
something like that.
Well,
Something like that.
that's why Sinister was always obsessed with them two,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah, yeah.
also
Even from the original series.
yeah, and also before we end this, Magneto returns and announces that Xavier, before he died,
He
gave him
left
full
everything.
control, left him everything, including control of the X-Men. Now, this is quite interesting because in the Age of Apocalypse story arc in the comics, Xavier actually died in that timeline, and Magneto took over the X-Men. So I don't know. maybe they could be heading in that direction in X-Men 97. I mean, what was your thoughts on Magneto joining the X-Men and taking control of the team? It's quite interesting. What do you
I mean,
think?
it's interesting because he is the guy who, in the comic books and the cartoons at the time, of course, he is the main antagonist. He is the main,
Absolutely.
because it's a three-way fight, isn't it?
Mm.
There's the
It's
humans, the X-Men, and then the Brotherhood of Mutants.
led by
So it's like a
Magneto.
three-way battle.
Yeah,
To add the
absolutely.
X-Men and the Brotherhood of Mutants, it was a bit strange, but as soon as he came in, I was like, oh yeah, right, this has got me. Like,
Yeah,
like you said
definitely.
earlier on, tune in tomorrow, whatever. Like, yeah, I'll be back. 35 seconds later when I skip to the next episode because I obviously watched episode 1, 2, and 3 together. And yeah, mind blowing. Like mind blowing. Obviously, I don't think you know this, but at the time, I think 1, 2, and 3 all came out on the same day.
I
I
believe
want
they
to say
did.
that.
Yes.
I want to say that. I
Yeah,
want
they
to say
did
that 1, 2, and
actually.
3, or at least 1 and 2 came out on the same day. So obviously, most people by the time they were at episode 3 were like, "Wow, what is this?" And
It was a good way
even
to end it.
even before, because I just thought about this now because we've not really hinted on this, but I am going to give this a really solid rating of like 9 out of 10, just because of
Yeah.
what you mentioned there. Because I didn't even remember the Magneto. I thought Magneto actually came in episode 2, but yeah, he comes in. Everything gets sort of revealed in episode 2. But yeah, him coming in at the end there, I haven't had a chill down my spine when it's like, ooh, like
Yeah.
even if I've got to wait 2 weeks, I'm waiting. I have to make sure I do not miss the next episode of this.
Oh no. Once they all walked into the study and Magneto standing there, all arrogance and calm, I thought, okay. I knew we wouldn't go a whole episode without seeing Magneto. We knew he was going to turn up. It was just a matter of when, and that was the perfect way to end a really good first episode. But no, I definitely agree. Definitely give this episode a 9 out of 10. This was really good, good strong start, and I wouldn't expect anything less from a classic 90s cartoon. This is really good and off to a great start, I would say. That's just really, really good. As you said, it really got you hooked. So I said to
Yeah,
watch episode two.
like what we're about to say in within the next like minute or so. Tune in next time for the next episode of X-Men. You know what I mean? That's it. Got me straight away. Like, oh yeah, I'm definitely tuning into the next episode of X-Men. I may not have ever seen a single minute of the original series, but the moment that I got to that Magneto bit, I was like, right, well, we've got to see what's going on here because he's not normally with them.
No, he's not. They're far from it. So that's going to be it from us. We are going to wrap this up now. What was your thoughts on episode one? To me, my X-Men. Did you enjoy it? How do you think all of the characters were handled? Do you think they were handled really well? And also, how do you all feel about Magneto taking over the X-Men team? Do you think there's an agenda? Do you think he's changed? Or do you think it could be something totally different? You know what to do, guys. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave your thoughts and comments down below, and we will see all of you next time for another edition of the X-Men 97 review series, where we are going to be talking about episode 2. So make sure you don't miss that. Rex, pleasure as always.
Yeah, of course, pleasure, guys, and we will see you next time for episode 2.
Bye for now, everyone.